10, and this is from Michael's Gallery Wrapped Canvas, okay? So this is gonna be super easy. So gather all your scrap glass, all your icky stuff, all the stuff you didn't know you've been saving. Yeah, you can use the 40% anytime. All the icky stuff you've been saving, you didn't know what you were gonna do with, we're gonna show you right now. So, while I'm doing this, I wanna tell you guys, we got something fun and exciting on the horizon. We are prepping for our next 5-day challenge, so you guys stay tuned for that. I'm getting really excited about doing that. I love the 5-day challenge. So anyway, we are gonna put a little bit of color on this canvas. Again, 10 by 10 canvas size. So somebody asked, you can help me out and let them know what we're doing here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of color. This is gonna be kind of neutral, very monochromatic. So I'm gonna use some white and a little bit. Thank you, Carol Sue. That was so cute, wasn't it? I gave it to my sister. She actually came over to get it. She was like, you keep showing everybody my watermelon. She is a watermelon girl. So the other color I'm going to use is Americana Spa Blue. And I'm just going to use a little bit of that, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is just, you know, I do this pretty fancy, so y'all might want to watch really close. Squirt some paint on the canvas. I know, that's technical. Sometimes you have to go to art school to learn that technique, and here I am giving it to you free, right? Okay, so I'm using just a little sponge brush because I kind of want to make it, I don't want any brush strokes. I want to make it kind of fluid. So let me get all this paint on. I don't want that little boogery thingy. Not sure where that came from. Let's get it off though. Get a little bit more. Hi, Colette. Okay. Have a good night. So we're just gonna cover the canvas with, that's coming out of my bottle. That's dried up paint coming out of my bottle. That's icky. Because I don't close it good probably. I'm a bad artist. I'm either creating or not creating, and when I'm not creating, I don't care. It's just like, oh, I don't care. I'll just leave that there. Okay, so now that I have my whole canvas covered in white, I'm gonna come back in with some of this Spa Blue. And I want it to be kind of an ombre, which means I want it lighter, dark down here, and then a little bit lighter as it goes up. So I am gonna hit down here with just a line of this Spa Blue, and we'll just smear it in to that white, and then it'll be kind of a little bit dark, and it doesn't even have to be perfect. See how it has some skippies and it's not completely covered here and there? Don't matter a lick. So that's about it. That's the technicality of the background of this piece. So there you are. See how hard that was? Totally difficult. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry, but while we do, I wanna show you a few things. I'm gonna pull this up towards me and show you what we're working with. So I showed you the vase. So these are all some pieces that were down in the bag of my Hobby Lobby bag that were just broken. Now I did not manipulate any of this except for to take some of the sharp points off the ends. I did not nip or reshape any of these pieces. These were all just down in the bottom of the bag. So we're just gonna use these as is, just like it is. We're making a scrap art, Sandy, or Patsy. Hello, hello. So then we're gonna use some of this. I'm trying to wait for my thing to dry. We're gonna use some bubbles. I probably already said all this. I'm gonna move this back up in here. And let's just, instead of just yakety-yakking, let's just blow dry this really quick. It shouldn't take but a few seconds. And close your ears. We're gonna hit this and get it dry so we can move on. So there's another craft-a-thon. Oh, honey, I'm the queen of scraps. There's another craft-a-thon coming. The fall craft-a-thon is August 29th is when I will be showing how to make a really cute glass art sunflower. I'm pretty excited about it. So it's an all-day affair. For 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, every 20 minutes, a new artist and a new craft. So, and it's all fall related, should be super fun. And I will keep you guys posted as we learn more about what's happening. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start with just some clear glass. I'm gonna kind of make my defined line where I want all my things to be. So I'm just going to just dump. And that was maybe half a pound or less. I'm just gonna dump that glass right about there. Not in the middle, but not on the bottom. Might get a little bit more. So really no rhyme or reason, no put it here exactly. It's all just, it goes where it goes. Now also, I'm gonna throw in a few little nuggets of this same color. It's just 1/2 inch, just for a little interest, okay? Just a little handful or two. We may add more in a minute. So the next thing I wanna do is go ahead and place my scraps, okay? So I'm gonna move this up just a little. I'll probably add some more color down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick all my little shapes. They kind of look like sailboats. They all just broke in this triangular. I promise, I did nothing to shape these. They all just kind of broke in this triangular manner. So I'm just gonna put all these up here. I'm gonna overlap a couple so that gives it a little more interest. We'll overlap that. Leave this one, stick it kind of down in the middle. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this clear and I'm gonna just fill in some gaps. This is just some clear scrap glass. Well, here's another little piece. We'll throw that in right here. Just stick that right in that hole. And I'm just gonna start adding some little scraps here and there. We'll stick that there. And we'll put, that's got a little white to it. We'll stick this here. And this is perfectly clear, but it has a little bit of iridescence. That'll look really nice. I'm just gonna fill in some holes. And this is all either clear or white or, you know, just with a smidge of color. I love this piece too. Don't you think we must add it somewhere? I think we must add it. Let's scoot that over and put it right there. He must go in there somewhere. That's just all there is to it. It's a must. There's another little scrap with a little blue in it. Yeah, whichever you want, right? Whichever one you want it to be. That's fun. So I'm just gonna keep adding little giblets of goodness until I feel like I'm done adding pieces. So I'm just gonna keep, I want some smaller ones. I'll put that there. And I think I'm gonna add a little more of this clear. And I'm just seriously flying by the seat of my pants. No idea what's gonna happen. Oh, look at this piece. Do you see how that sparkles? We'll put him right there. So cute. Got a couple of really sparkly ones. Can you see how that one catches the lights? No, I don't know why. Is this not cute? I'm just kind of filling in. And what I'm trying to intentionally do is fill that gap between the bottom of these glass shards and where it touches the glass. So I'm just kind of adding those little bitty baby pieces to kind of cover that gap between the bottom of the glass shards and our little pile of glass here. So I think I'm gonna actually add a little more of this big old fat glass. And I have a little surprise. Y'all don't freak out, but I have a little bit. I'm trying to go through this little plate and see if I have anything fun in here to add. But I also have some glass that I've had for several years. No idea where I got it. Oh, this is a good piece we'll add. No idea where I got it, so I can't tell you where to find it. But it looks like busted up sea glass. Okay? So it's kind of a teal color, and it's kind of has that smoky, not smoky, that dusty look of sea glass, and I've had it forever. No idea where it came from, but I am gonna add, and I never use it. I might have used it once or twice. I'm just gonna add a little bit of that down here. I'm gonna add some more of these little nuggets. I'm just playing, We'll add, maybe add that right in there. So I'm just sticking in scraps anywhere I can fit them in. That one's white, so that'll look really nice. And these clear ones especially won't hardly even show, but they will cast off like a reflection and a little bit of iridescence after the resin is poured. That looks really cool. So I'm just sticking stuff in. Let's see. A little piece of that. A little piece of that. I think I'm about done. I don't want this down here to be like a perfectly straight line. So I'm gonna muss that up a little so it's more organic and wavy. And we'll add to that excitement by using bubbles. Woohoo! At Michael's, this? I didn't know that, because I have no idea where this came from. It is glass, it's not plastic. So, I don't know. I know I didn't get it at Michael's, because I had like a 10-pound bag of it. Oh! Okay, so now I'm gonna add my bubbles, because you know nothing is done unless it has bubbles. So I'm just gonna get some in my hand and literally going to just throw them on. Put some down at the bottom. See, this didn't take any time. I thought I was gonna nitpick it more, and but you could make something like this in a matter of minutes. I mean, seriously, look how fast that went. Woohoo! I'm trying to decide if there's anything else I want to put in here. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Ooh, I like that piece. Do you see how that has a little bit of gold in it? Let's throw that sucker in. All right. Now, the piece de resistance is when we pour the resin. That's when it's really going to pop. I think we need a little more up here. There. Okay, so I'm going to scooch this up. Is this not gorgeous? This is scraps. This is just stuff I hardly ever use because I rarely use a lot of this clear. Yeah, it is really chunky, Catherine. I don't use a lot of this clear stuff unless I just need an accent. And these scraps, I'm not sure what I will put them in. So this is why I call this scrap art. Let me see. And so I think we're going to go ahead and mix some resin and see what we end up with when this is done. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Oh my goodness, shortest live ever. I love it too, Linda. And so when you're doing something like this, don't make a straight line. Don't make it like perfectly straight across the bottom so that it does have that organic feel to it. I love scrap art. Ow! I just ripped my glove, but we're going to use it anyway because gloves are hard to come by these days. I do too. I can't wait to see how it looks when the resin is done, because you guys know that sometimes you have one thing and then when you pour the resin on, it just takes on a whole new life of its own. So let's make some resin. Now I've got a good bit of glass here, so I think I am going to pour, trying to decide, I'm going to do 4 ounces of resin. I don't know if that'll be enough or too much or what, because for whatever reason my resin calculating brain has been on vacation. I'm pretty sure it'll be too much, but we'll see how it goes, and I will let you know when we're done how much I used. And I got a little something in my cup. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 ounces of art resin hardener in my cup. Now if you're new, I say this all the time and I'm going to continue to say it. If you're new, mix in 2 cups. Don't try to mix in 1 cup, because if you don't get it exactly mixed and measured, then you could end up with a sticky mess that you will never be able to fix and make it look good. Okay, so if you're new, 2 cups is what you want. Put part A, which is this, in 1 cup, and then the second part in the next cup, and then combine those 2 together. So let's see. I'm gonna do 2 ounces of resin. Slow down, sister, because that stuff is like molasses. It grows on you. So when you get close to that line, you want to micromanage it and let it grow for a minute, because it'll grow more than you think. All right, that's perfect. Is this not spectacular? Okay, so before I start mixing, I'm going to go ahead and put my blocks under. Hello, Rima, just in time. We got another a loose bubble. So I'm going to put my blocks under to keep any drippage off the sides. So here's what we have. So I have my part A and part B in my cup. So let's start timing, Rima. Let's start timing. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I am going to start stirring my resin. This is art resin, and you need to follow the directions on whatever resin you are using. But this is art resin, and it is a 3-minute mix, okay? So we're going to stir for 3 minutes. Scrape your sides, scrape the bottom, make sure it's all mixed. So just keep stirring for 3 minutes. Don't cut yourself short. And see, I don't know what the deal is. Look, I can't, you know, that's all a Facebook thing, and I cannot, you know, if I could control Facebook, it'd be a whole different social media. It'd be a whole different ball game. So yeah, I can't, all I can do is what I can do, and then whatever they do, blah, blah. You know, I can't control it. So anyway, I'm gonna keep stirring because Rima will fuss at me. It's just whatever you want it to be, Jerry. It is just what I call junk art or scrap art. And so it is whatever you want it to be. And this is a 10 by 10. So I'm just gonna keep stirring. 2-in-1 resin pour like it's already mixed. If it's already mixed, it's gonna be hard because it takes mixing one part into the other for it to chemically react and harden. So if there, I don't know what that would be, Kathleen. Hey Gina, how are you, love bug? How are ya? So yeah, we're going to be doing another challenge soon. We're going to be doing some things differently we're going to reopen the Shattered Circle the last week of September, I think-ish. And we're going to be doing things a little bit different because of the COVID. So we're going to be trying to make it easy for all you ladies to get in and get all the learning you need without paying a fortune for it. So we just stay tuned, and I'm going to let you know all the details as they become solidified. Yeah, I don't know, Kathleen. Yeah. No idea. This is what I use. It's called Art Resin. And it's a 2-part epoxy that you mix 50-50. It's not a weigh, it's a measure. Because one of the parts is denser, so you can't weigh it. You have to measure. Whew. I don't know what to tell you, Miss Reams. I know, COVID in the house. Ugh. Okay, Judy, to break a shower door, take a hammer. Pow! If you hit it with an ice pick and a hammer, like close to the edge, like hit it really close to the edge where it's weakest, it'll just shatter. But you need to make sure you take all the precautions, okay? Put it down on a tarp, cover it with the tarp, use eye protection, long sleeves, you know, cover your eyes, cover your mouth, cover your hair, because that stuff is going to pop. You know, it may just shatter and just stay. Thank you. It may just shatter in one piece, but you can't depend on that, okay? You can't depend on it to do that. So make sure that you are taking all the precautions. I'm going to scoot this down a little, get it a little more in the screen. Yep. And yes, cover it and pop it on a corner. It's weaker, it's stronger in the middle and weaker on the side. So make sure you hit it close to the edge. Okay, so I'm just gonna start at the bottom and work my way up, because when I get up here, I may have to pick some of the pieces up. And I know, right? I never wear a mask. Not when I'm epoxying. I do when I'm outside, y'all. Don't be judging. I do when I go places. Anywho, I'm gonna just start adding this resin, and I like to start like work left to right or top to bottom, so I know where I started. That way I don't go all over the place, and then I don't know where I hit and where I didn't. So if you just start at the bottom and methodically work your way up, then yes, that is different, Kathleen. Work your way up so you ensure that you're covering all of that glass. So I'm just gonna keep working my way up and over using my little fancy stick that Miss Colette gave me. This is the best thing since sliced bread, man. Best thing. Please don't. Please don't. I am so over all this stuff. I just want, you know, I moved away, got a divorce, moved back home to Memphis, and just barely took a breath when all this hit. And I tell you what, I was on the struggle bus for a long time with just feeling like a human being. Not that I feel like one all the time now, but man, I mean, it's hard enough going through some of this stuff. Let's just throw the COVID in the mix. Girl, my son's a doctor, and it is amazing. And trust you me, if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, taking all the precautions, he'd be kicking my butt. He'd be over here fussing. He'd be locking me in the house, not letting me go anywhere. He's mean that way. Maureen, look on Amazon. I bought like, I don't know, like 24 or something on Amazon. All right, so now I'm up at the top. I'm gonna start putting it over the top of these little scraps. And I may, once I get it on, I may have to pick some of them up and get some of the, I don't feel like a human, get some of the resin underneath, but I'm gonna go ahead and cover as much as I can, and then we'll futz with it in a minute. You go nowhere. We won't let my mom go anywhere either. I do go grocery shopping for my mom, or she'll click list, because my mom's 81 and we're like, my sister has my mom on Life 360, and if my mom leaves the house, my sister knows it. That's right. That's funny. Huh. All right, so I'm gonna get all this covered. Get a little extra up here at the top. And now I think I'm gonna futz with the big pieces a little bit, because I can already tell, I don't know if you can see from your vantage point. Let me scoot this up just a little. I moved it down, now I have to move it up. I can't decide where it needs to be. Hang on. In the resin section, cool. Okay, let me get this situated. And then I want to show you something. Can you see on this piece right here, and I just got something, on this piece right here, how like right on that edge, it looks darker? That's an air bubble underneath that piece of glass. So what I want to do, what I want to do is just lift that up, okay? And I want to make sure there's resin underneath that piece, so that we eliminate that air pocket as much as possible anyway. So we're gonna mess with that a little bit. It's still got a little bit of an air pocket. This one looks okay. This one, I'm gonna lift up. I'm gonna get a little bit of resin underneath there, make sure there's some on both sides, and we'll stick it back down. I don't know. Hang on. All right, this one needs some under too. I see a pockets. All right, stick it back down. See, so yeah, don't be married to what you did when you first started, because it may change as you start adding and moving your little glass bits around. So don't be married to it. Don't be married at all. Just kidding. I'm gonna lift that up. Push a little bit of resin underneath there. I'm trying to do this without moving it around too much. Love that piece right there. And this one needs some resin underneath. So I'm gonna squish a little resin under. I'm just making a mess, y'all. And we'll do the same over here. I'm gonna put a little on there. That's kind of curvy. So, I just stuck my elbow in it. Let me see if I can play with this a little. See, I need to use my fingers because this is awkward, and it's just easier for some things if I use my hands. Let me put this back where it was. Put this back down here. Turn this piece back over. I think this is how it was. I don't know. Okay. Bob, oh my God. Oh my God, who said who is Bob? Rima. Oh my God. Gina, that's on you. I'm gonna let you private message Rima. Oh my God, I can't even with you ladies. So I am going, my hands are so sticky, I cannot use this stick right now because I've got so much resin on my fingers, it's just wanting to slide out of my hand. So I'm gonna set this aside for a second. And I'm just gonna use my fingers, because look at my hands, they're so covered already. And just move that resin around. to make sure everything is covered nicely. I see a little bit of debris, but we'll get that out in a minute. God. Oh my Lord. I'm gonna come down here, make sure all my sides are covered. Ah, Lord, Lord. You done got me tickled, girl. So I've still got a little bit of resin in here. What I say, I mix 4 ounces. And I probably have less than ½ an ounce. I'll tell you in just a second when I get done. I got enough to just make a mess with something else. May add it to here. Or, let's see. Gosh, I'm a disaster tonight. Let me add some here. Then I'm gonna just add right back over the top of this just for a little added protection. So we're gonna use the whole 4 ounces, but I would, you know, depending on your glass usage, I would say 3½ ounces, maybe 3 if you use less glass, but 4 is definitely plenty because I used way more in this piece than I would normally use. I know, right? I would not be having any fun, that's for sure. My life would be super boring. So I'm just gonna make sure everything's covered. I'm kind of looking at it from a couple of different angles. And I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna take these sticky gloves off before I have a fit. Ooh. Rima said she's gonna have words with you later, Gina. Okay, so I see some debris. It's just like a little speck of something. So I'm just gonna use this little skewer to just pick that up. And there's a little, that looks like a cat hair. I'm gonna just pick that up on that little skewer. All you have to do if you see a little something in your piece that shouldn't be there is get a toothpick or something really pointy and go to where it is and just kind of twist that tool, and it'll twist that little hair or that little piece of dust onto your toothpick. And other than that, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Let's see. I don't see anything else except right here. There's a piece of pepper or something. There it goes. All right, so now that looks so good, guys. I don't know about y'all, but I like this. All right, we are going to hit this with a torch real quick. You don't have to use a torch. You can use a heat gun or even a blow dryer on low air, high heat. It's just really the warmth of the flame that pops these bubbles. So you don't want your flame to ever touch your art because it will burn the resin. And you don't want to like stop and be focused in on one section of your art. You want to keep your hand moving constantly and keep your flame off of your art piece. So just like that, voila, all those bubbles are gone. Done. Blow that and don't touch your finger with that right there because it'll burn you. Tell me, ask me how I know. I still have a little bit of a blister there. It's the bubble's gone, but it's still there. I can feel it. So anyway, I saw a little something as I was torching right here. I think I got it. There it is. Got it. So what do you think? This, my friends, is called this, my friends, is called scrap art. Okay, this is junk art. This is just a canvas with a teeny bit of paint on it and some scrap glass that from a broken vase and some other scraps here and there. Look how cute. Oops. Look how cute this one little piece is, that with the blue on it. Is that not spectacular? This is gonna look so good when it dries. There are a lot of little iridescent pieces that really sparkle with the light.